Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Steven Goes to the Movies. I'm here once again with Alan.
Yeah.
And special guest star, Jason in the back there. Friend and hockey teammate wearing his ugly ass Capitals sweatshirt.
Best team in the world.
No judgments, no judgments.
No judgments, you stupid ugly ass. Listen here.
So anyways, we just left the theater after seeing Anna and the Apocalypse, which also included a post-credits Q&A with the director of photography, and one of the main actors from the movie.
Right.
So, what were our thoughts?
Why don't you go first?
Alan, why don't you go first?
Ladies, please, Steven.
I know your guys' strategy. That's why I'm letting you go first.
Why don't you go first? No, honestly, like at first I was like, oh man, this is gonna go on the bottom 10. In the beginning,
I would agree. When the movie first started, it didn't feel like it was gonna hit the right tones.
right? And then it picked up from there.
Once the zombies came out, then it got a lot better. Because at first, I mean, okay, so during the Q&A, the director even said that they wanted the first act to be like a silly teen comedy, like high school comedy.
Right.
And it definitely, I guess you could say, it had that vibe, because it wasn't my jam.
Right. Yeah, like when she started singing, you're like, oh, okay, we're doing this now.
Right, that first song, it came out of the blue, and I was like,
So you had to get used to it.
Yeah.
And I knew it, that it was gonna be, but I just like, oh, okay.
I think mainly, for me, it was because this was a cast of unknowns.
Right.
That all of a sudden they're singing, versus like if we know these actors and we know that they sing, then we're expecting it, and then for them to all of a sudden they're singing, it like you said, we took a little getting used to. But then the way they introduced the zombies and all that was great. It was funny.
Yeah, it's very.
I don't know, Jason, do you have any initial thoughts before we kind of explain?
Yeah, I actually disagree a little bit.
Surprise.
Well, I mean, I also watched the trailer beforehand, so maybe that was a little.
I hadn't seen the trailer.
To be fair, Steven had not seen the trailer, so I understand that going into it and being like, oh fuck, it's a musical.
Before the movie, they both surprised me with the fact that it was a musical, and I was a little bit more than shocked to learn this. That,
and I've also seen way more movies than Steven, at least classic movies, and so I was picking up on a lot of the things in the beginning opening. And I do get that they were setting up everything and all. My biggest pet peeve with the entire film, and this is going to sound retarded as fuck, is...
Watch your language.
Oh, okay, it's going to sound retarded as bleep.
Bleep is bleep.
Was she opened her locker to get that envelope with the ticket on it, and on the envelope it said, "This is your e-ticket."
Oh.
And I was like, well, wait a minute, why is an e-ticket on paper, you know? That was my biggest pet peeve. When they talked about how the songs move the storyline forward, you know, when I first started seeing that, and in the first song there was a couple characters in there, and I was like, wait, we know nothing about these characters. Why are they in these songs and so in depth? And I was like, and I sat back and thought about it for a second while the song before it had finished. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. They're actually talking about these characters and moving the storyline forward with them, and then the director actually repeated that at the end. Right. And I was like, yeah, like I really liked that part. Like that was really good of them, you know.
No, I will say that that they did do a good job of using the music to advance the plot.
Right, rather than what he said, just having a music in there to have a music in there. That's why most musicals
like High School Musical,
2.5, 3, 4 hours long musicals, because they're like, oh, let's sing about this one little thing,
and then go back to the story,
and then go back to the storyline. I love this style of musical. I think every fucking musical from now on should be like this. It's great. Sorry, I think every bleeping style of musical should be like this from now on.
Alan, you were gonna say something about the trailer when we were walking to the car. What were you gonna say?
The trailer? I don't remember.
By the way, I did like their acting, and I know they were all unknowns and new and everything.
No, listen,
they did a great job.
The acting, the singing, it was all good. It just I just meant because I didn't know who was gonna be the ones to start singing.
Gotcha.
At first, it felt like, oh, like Alan said, oh, well, I guess this is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I guess
How did you not know that Anna, the main character, was gonna be the first one to start singing?
I figured, but then
It's a musical and she's the main character.
yeah, I know. I just didn't know when it was.
Well,
gonna,
okay. How about
kick
this?
In, you know?
How about this? It didn't lead in with some music before she started singing.
Right.
All of a sudden, she just starts singing, and then the music comes in.
Right.
I like that.
Well, okay, but at the same time, it caught us off guard. Because if there was like, oh, I hear some music, that means there's probably gonna be now's the first song.
The first time it happens, it's a little jarring.
Right.
Yeah, and then it was
not used to it.
And then it was great.
Used to the songs in a musical actually driving the story forward.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and that's that kept it more character centric. When they had the characters start singing, then had the music come in, definitely helped you to draw more attention to the character and have the songs move the story forward.
So basically, the movie is about this character Anna, and so the film is set in Scotland because it's from
It's like High School Musical.
They're from
right. They're
and
from
Shaun of the Dead had sex. This is their baby.
It's
well, like
High
I said,
School.
It takes from all of the zombie movies, and he's right. It does. It takes from a myriad of them.
Right.
There's like specific shots. He just straight up lifted.
Like the one with the cricket bat and everything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, so the story of this movie is it's a small Scottish town because they're from Scotland. The whole thing is Scottish. We get that. And Anna dreams of more. She's working towards to pay off a plane ticket to Australia. Her dad doesn't want her to go. Her mom has died, so he's clingy, and she's seems maybe kind of resentful.
Her friend doesn't want her to go because he has a crush on her.
She's got a best friend who's a guy who's got a thing for her, and she doesn't have the thing back for him. And then there's the supporting cast. We've got the boyfriend girlfriend who are all lovey-dovey and life is perfect. And then we've got a lesbian character whose parents are out of
American,
town.
Right?
She's American, and her parents are in Mexico. While they left her in Scotland of all places to go to be the outcast in school.
Right.
And that's your cast. So then basically the whole plot of
the villain? You forgot the villain.
Oh, of course. And the villain is the headmaster.
No, the soon-to-be headmaster.
The soon-to-be headmaster, which I gotta say he was the weakest part of the movie for me personally.
I loved his charisma.
No, listen, he had charisma, but his
character development,
and his motivations, and even his songs were like the lowest. Like he had to do a lot more physicality to bring out humor in his songs because he wasn't singing; he was speaking, in a musical tone. So I thought that was a little more on the interesting side.
The bully boyfriend.
Oh yes, the bully, the guy who they don't really. Yeah, he turns out he was the ex-boyfriend of Anna.
It's really hard with the accents. I understand.
The accents were strong.
The accents were not that thick.
No,
the director was.
The director's accent was thick, and Anna's father. Anna's father had the thickest accent, and that's funny because I was in Scotland a couple months ago.
You should have been able to understand.
No, I'm not using that as my excuse for not understanding anything.
That was a joke.
But yeah, I mean, overall, like I like the movie, right? I mean, it seems like we all like the movie.
I loved it. It was freaking hysterical. One of the funniest movies I've seen in a couple months. Like, absolutely hilarious.
Like what
there are a lot of what do you call it? Little like
Easter eggs.
Yes, there's a lot of Easter eggs within there, both within the scenes and all of us. I'm talking about within the lyrics.
Oh. Okay.
I'm not even talking about lyrics like references of other movies or anything.
Oh, okay.
But even within like song lyrics or talking lyrics, like there's little like one-liners where you're like you start cracking up, like if you really listen to them and you can catch them and everything. Like it's really funny.
So yeah, sounds like we all give it a recommendation.
And it's like I guess very small theater.
It's an independent film.
Very small film, yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, there we go. Now he remembers.
That I'll be watching YouTube. I see trailers for this, or like even these movies. I'll see trailers for this movie, and I'm like, oh, I'm hyped for that. And then I'll see trailers for what was it, The Favorite, and then I want to go see them, or like Suspiria. and then it's like, oh, they're very limited releases.
Oh,
kind of hard to
yeah, we had to go a little out of the way to get to this
Yeah.
movie because this was the only theater in the whole greater LA area that was playing, at least the only AMC theater
Right.
that had it.
Yeah, and I just find it like what that movie's being advertised so like heavily. I mean, at least to me.
It is. Yeah.
And then it's like I can't even find it at every theater. It's like I have to go out of my way to watch these movies.
But I understand as well, because so the way that the movie industry works, from what I've gathered, is that they base your success on how much you bring in per screen you're on.
Right.
So if you're on 30 screens across the city, and you divide out your audience amongst all 30, then you know you could say that they didn't do as well as if they're on one screen doing this well.
Right.
You know, X number.
I get it. It's just,
and they're hoping to be able to show, look at us doing well here, now put us in more. Because at the end they did make a call out for help, you know, getting the word out there, because that's how the movie will be seen by more people, is if people are told to go see it and ask for it and so forth.
That's true.
It was definitely very heavy nostalgia to see the Orion logo. We all kind of commented about that before the movie, and then the director brought it up after. I didn't even know Orion was still making any films.
I think it's
and they clearly didn't update their logo, since it still had like a.
I think
it's a subsidiary of Paramount, so Paramount might have lent it out to them.
Maybe.
You know, maybe they're not actually doing anything. Maybe they lent out the logo though, or maybe they did work with the actual production company. But yeah,
interesting.
It was exciting to see that.
Yeah. So yeah, go see the movie, support them and everything they do. So there were some,
especially if you're looking for an offbeat like Christmas.
I gotta say,
yeah,
like,
you know what? This is top 2 of Christmas movies for this year.
Top 2? What's your number 1?
Green Book.
Oh, did that take place at Christmas time in the movie?
Yes.
That's like
the whole thing is about like the race to get home before Christmas.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So now we can discuss a couple trailers. There were some that we'd already Alan and I have discussed, but Jason seems to have some strong opinions about Pet Sematary.
I said I don't know. I'm kind of a mixed bag about it, you know.
Well, why? What makes it look like it's?
First off, I'm sick of fucking remakes. Sorry, I'm sick of freaking remakes. Okay. I think if you don't have a freaking good idea, at least release something bad, and maybe it'll lead to somebody having a good idea. But stop making remakes. Make the kids go watch the originals that their parents did. Okay.
But originals don't bring in the money that a remake does.
I know. But it's just like, and the remakes are terrible. There's nothing original in there because they're freaking remakes.
Yeah, but when did the original Pet Sematary come out?
It's either 80s or 70s. It was
the 1980s.
1980s. So it's been but it's been 30 years.
I know, but I don't care how long it's been. Stop with the remakes. Period.
All right.
If a film that notable that people can remember it for 30, 40 years, whatever, and you're like, oh, it was so popular, I want to remake it, that film does not need to be remade. If there's another film that was terrible and tanked and did really bad, remake that one better.
What I think is happening is that it did really well.
It did really
digging
well.
the grave of every like Stephen Hawking thing that was.
Yeah, but
Stephen who?
It was messed up.
Stephen Hawking?
Yeah, whatever his name.
Stephen King.
Stephen
King. Yeah, there we go. You see, King.
Haha, Stephen King. Well, speaking of remakes, the next trailer was for Deadpool PG-13. I mean, I know Alan wants to go see it.
Yeah, I just want to see what they add.
It's got to be Disney having their hands in it to see if they can get away from it being an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
Do you think
start being a PG-13 movie?
Do you think, depending on how this does, it could affect Deadpool 3?
Yes, 100%. Deadpool 3 could be PG-13.
Part of me thinks they're gonna throw in some sort of MCU.
They very well could.
Bring him into the stable.
Yeah.
Even though, as Fred Savage said at the beginning, you're like the other Marvel studio.
Yeah.
Marvel licensed by Fox.
It's like Nickelback making the.
It's like, if the Beatles were produced by Nickelback, it's music, but not really. Next up was a new one, Happy Death Day 2.
To you.
And to you as well, sir.
What was it? Happy Death Day to you.
Happy Death Day to you. I loved the first Happy Death Day movie. I thought it was funny as hell.
Surprised, yes.
And Jason as well, pleasantly surprised.
I've never seen it.
Alan never saw it because he didn't have Movie Pass or AMC Stubs at the time.
Right. And I don't go watch more movies.
Right. I'm reserved about number 2 because what I thought from the beginning of the trailer was like maybe she now her friend is stricken by the same thing. Instead, looks like they're literally going to retread the same day as the first one. So I'm not.
Looks like Groundhog's Day.
Well, and actually,
in
the first movie at the end, one of the characters does mention Groundhog's Day.
The guy, the boyfriend in the second.
And then she goes, what's Groundhog's Day? And he's like, you've never seen it? And like I thought that was a really clever moment because they knew when everybody walked out of the theater they would have compared it exactly to it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But number 2, it looks like
Bat Out of Hell.
She knows she's dying and she has to save everybody, but so do all of her friends know. But she's, instead of her reliving like a year later or something, or a new death day, she's reliving the old one. She's like, ah, crap, how do I get out of this now? You know, I thought I already did.
That's true. I mean, I'm down. I'm gonna go see it for sure.
No, I am too, because I really love the first one, even though I didn't go to theaters for it. But it looks like they poked way more. It looks like they went really more as a comedy in it. And the first one was very much pleasantly surprised a comedy, which you did not expect from Blumhouse, but I don't know if it's Blumhouse, but whoever it was.
I don't think it is.
No?
Of all the movies, I don't think that's a Blumhouse.
Anyways, suffice it to say, it was portrayed as a horror movie, and it ended up being a comedy, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And the second one looks like it's, really just making even way more fun of not only itself but other horror movies and stuff, which I always love because modern horror is they're just scraping the bottom of the barrel these days.
And I'll definitely make sure Alan watches Happy Death Day so that he's up to date on Happy Death Day to you. Next up was Aquaman, which we also had kind of discussed. Jason is very strongly anti-Aquaman.
Any DC movie.
Any DC, he's just anti-DC at this point.
No, I love their TV shows.
Except for the TV shows.
I'm like the opposite.
Alan's the opposite.
I give them a little bit of a pass.
Can you see? Can you hear okay?
Yeah.
Do you know what they're saying? Can you see it visually?
Now
How
remember,
terrible they are?
now if anybody watched the video where Alan and I discussed the Aquaman trailer before, is that before this trailer, the new trailer came out, I was definitely like, this looks like it's gonna be terrible. And then this new trailer came out, and I'm a little more open to it.
Right.
And in fact, that's why we are going to be seeing an early
preview. A lot of people are saying good things about it. So,
some good things are out there. I gotta say though,
things about all the other DC movies too, and they were terrible.
I have to say though, Jason Momoa's outfit, like the Aquaman outfit, looks really atrocious. And I don't know. It's the outfit.
It doesn't fit the character they built around him.
It doesn't, because he's too manly and bulky.
Yeah, he's got the tats, he's got the
and then they put him in like the.
I'm thinking he's just having that for like the final fight or whatever it is.
Well, because that's like, but that's still like it's one scene too many for that outfit. They should have updated the outfit like they've done with everybody else in the universe.
Thing, that's why Iron Man gets a new suit every fucking.
No. That's not. That's not the same at all. Aquaman's always worn the same outfit. Yeah. If it was a toyetic thing, they would have given him something new to wear.
They had a different suit for Justice League, and now he has a new suit. I bet you. But the
new suit is the old suit.
The new suit is now the one.
It's the classic suit.
Like the hero of Atlantis. Before he was still just kind of wandering the globe in the Justice League and stuff. You know. And
I'm just saying.
My God, I can't believe that they put out Justice League like that. That was terrible.
Go on, Alan. What were we gonna say?
No, that's a typical hero thing, like a superhero movie thing, because half the money comes from the toys. So every film of a superhero film, they'll add some little redesign.
Synergy, like being able to sell the toys in the video games for the iconic character and everything.
No, and I get that, and I would have been okay with a different Aquaman outfit from the Justice League, but it just doesn't. The one that they've gone with, the classic look, just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, the classic look didn't work in the classic look.
No,
now either. I mean,
I don't know. I think it's as good as they can make it, and it's gonna be there for a while, and they'll go back to something.
I mean, I'm fine. I'm glad DC finally did something that like works back to the classic, and they're sticking with it. Kudos for them, but let's face it, Warner Bros. And DC, like, They just make crap films. I mean, you're putting that much money into a film, and you can't give me believable graphics.
Right.
Yeah, the graphics are still a little on the
I think they
worrisome
overreach
side.
with their money. They didn't do that.
No,
They
the
didn't do
graphics are
bad.
horrible. They might as well just made the whole thing computer-generated, animated movie. You know?
All right.
Lion King.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much shot for shot.
But anyways, we have a split car on Aquaman.
Wait, there's one more. There
Oh.
was the Blumhouse trailer film, Prodigy.
Oh yes, the
yeah.
Which
Prodigy.
apparently you have not seen before, which is surprising to me.
I think I seen it once. But it was just whatever, so it didn't really stick with me.
I don't know why you would have thought I'd seen this before.
Because you go to like 3 movies a day, and I've seen
And
it
yet-
like 2 a month.
And yet it wasn't before any of the movies.
You just didn't get it. Yeah.
It looks interesting. Again, like I'm cool with Blumhouse and what they do. You know, I like the schlocky horror films that they seem to be putting out. So I'm interested. I'm curious to see how the main actress, I forgot her, I don't know her name,
I don't remember.
but she's the main character from Orange Is the New Black. So I'm curious to see how she'll do in a more serious like horror film role versus like the kind of campy, you know, jokey person that was in Orange Is the New Black.
Okay.
So once again, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Alan, for coming out and seeing this movie today, talking me into it, even after I learned it was a musical. Because I did have a good time. It left me with a smile on my face. And have a good night.
Have a good one.